Greetings fellow gnomes, I'm bringing you another tier list today, this time focusing on all the less lethal weapons and deployables that Ready or Not has to offer. Because I know you cheeky kids want to S-rank greased palms no matter how much it causes you and your keyboard physical pain. You also really want that hermit achievement and the beautiful watch, don't you? It's okay. You can tell me. Well, if you've seen my hermit guide, you'll know that in my opinion, the best way to get it is by going non-lethal. Plus you get to S-rank all the missions at the same time, so it's a win-win. As you can see, I'll be ranking them from carries your ass to actual ass, and some bits in between. My rankings are based on the state of the game as it stands currently. There are some items that, if fixed, will leap out of the trash and into your mouth, but as they stand, they're just floating in the poop water that accumulates at the bottom. Starting with the weapons, we have the VPL-25. Now, I really used to enjoy this weapon. It shoots 25 pepper balls per magazine, and you can carry as many as your slots allow, just like the real magazines. It takes around 5 shots for the suspect to notice that it hurts, and then leaves a small lingering cloud of CS gas that makes them cough, but also makes them run away from it. So unless you can stun them with something else or make them comply, they will just walk away. The thing that makes it not so great is the inconsistency of it. You need to land several shots in a row, which is easier said than done in a firefight, and hope they don't run into another room full of goons, which alerts them and ultimately makes your life harder. Plus, CS gas is, well, we'll get into that in a bit, so this one is just kind of meh. The TPL, a submachine gun version of the VPL and objectively worse in every single way. This one suffers from the same problems as the VPL as it fires the same pepper balls, except it only has 12 shots in the magazine, which is complete and utter dog water. Plus, as it's an SMG, it gets access to slightly fewer attachments, but that's just icing on this suspiciously viscous brown cake. It's going in poop. Since we are on the spicy meatball weapons, I'll round them off by talking about the TRPL, a pepperball pistol.
Suck.
Yeah, you'd have better luck just farting through the crack of the door. Now that that's out of the way, let's move on to the most goated and delicious, crunchy wrap supreme less lethal weapon in the game, the beanbag shotgun. Beanie here is the weapon that carried me through the hermit achievement with the utmost consistency. If I could legally marry this weapon, I would. Consummation may be a bit tricky, but I'd make it work. One shot is all you need to stun a suspect for a good few seconds, giving you precious time to do something else like run away or shout for compliance. Hell, you can keep more than one suspect stunned at the same time. If your whole team is rocking these bad boys, then peeps are getting bruised nuts at alarming rates. Easily a god tier weapon. Just don't hit people in the head if you want that S rank, as it will kill them. And to round out the weapons, we have the launchers. The flash launcher is a contender for top spot, honestly. Flashes are the most consistent way to subdue a suspect in this game anyway, and to have it fired instantaneously at long range, sending an express delivery of literal sunlight through their eyelids is a delightful experience. At least for you. You can also use it as a pseudo beanbag shotgun just by firing it directly into their eyes, nose and mouth, like a baseball player hurling a can of Coke that's been shaken by God himself. Its only downside is the number of rounds you can carry, and the fact that if you reload early, you lose the unspent ones. That said, it's low god tier, just under Beanie. And the CS launcher. Well, I'm going to cover CS in general here because no matter what the delivery system, the fact of the matter is that it's actually broken. Not like, OMG, this weapon is so busted, broken, OP, carries games, must pick meta. I mean, it literally doesn't work. It works about as well as my d. When the console update came out, CS gas just straight up stopped working. Before, it would immediately fill a room, immediately cause everyone in that room to start coughing, and would last like 20 seconds, making any non-lethal run an absolute snooze, and would easily make the launcher and the grenades god tier carry material. But now they just... ass tier. The CS grenade is going here for the same reason. Now for the other grenades, flashbangs are the standard by which all other grenades are measured. They stun for a decent amount of time, do huge morale damage, and can be airburst for greater coverage, which is very useful on maps like Greased Palms. A good all-rounder. Solid. The stinger grenades? These are slept on in my opinion. They have a large area of effect, stun for possibly longer than the flashbangs, but are more affected by the suspect being behind cover, as they won't get hit by all the little rubber balls that it shoots out. You can see these on the floor afterwards, which is kinda cool. Definitely a solid choice. Now for the deployables. C2. Another slept-on piece of kit, and easily the most powerful less lethal item in the game in terms of raw knockout power. Despite what the aftermath looks like, it is non-lethal. When tying them up, it will say deceased, but they will get back up. They are only knocked out briefly.
Oh look, he's fine!
So if you know there's a dude with a hostage on the other side of the door, close enough for the C2 to hit them, then use that bad boy. Both suspect and civvy will get thrown across the room and probably through into the next one, but you will lose no points for doing so. The downside is your carrying capacity for deployables in general, unless you want to sacrifice all your ammunition, and it's a relatively short range. If the room is small, then fill your boots. For anything larger than a shoe cupboard, and all you're going to do is ensure every chimp with a gun is alerted to you. Still, I always take some with me without fail, so it's a decent choice. Pepper spray. A very short range squirt of uselessness? Wait, I've heard that before.
Know your fucking place, trash!
If you're going to take a deployable to deal with armed suspects or angry civilians like Daniele, then take the taser. The range isn't huge, but if you can land your shot, it's guaranteed stun that lasts for absolutely ages and has an almost 100% surrender rate.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
With 2 rounds per clip, it's a decent pick, and I take one on every run that there's a named suspect to arrest. The grenade launchers in the long tactical slot used to be our only grenade launchers until the release of the primary ones. These have the same effect, but with only 1 shot at a time and limited ammo capacity. The CS1 suffers from the same problems we mentioned before, so literal ass, but the Stinger and Flash variants are solid choices, especially for your AI teammates. My go-to room clearing tactic is C2, launch and clear. The C2 knocking out anyone close to the door, and the launcher hopefully reaching the back of the room to hit anyone else. Although the AI can just bounce it off the door frame in front of you instead sometimes.
You stupid!
But that's not the weapon's fault, just the weapons that are your teammates. Both the Stinger and Flash launchers are decent choices. I was considering putting the Riot Shield in this list, but unless Void gave it a bash function similar to hitting people with your gun, then it only serves to help you not get shot at. You are forced to use a pistol, and since the only less lethal pistol we have is that god-awful piss launcher, it isn't going to make the list. I'm going to give an honourable mention here to hollow point ammunition. Now, hear me out. On the hard mode run, the best way to deal with named suspects was a shot or 2 to the knee. But if you mess this up, it could end up with the suspect dying very easily, so I wouldn't consider it less lethal. But that said, it incapacitates more often than it kills unless you shoot someone in the face. So maybe a pseudo option. So that's the list of the less lethals in Ready or Not. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, whether you agree or not, or maybe you've got a hot take on a piece of equipment that I overlooked. Chuck me a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.